Why are alt prices crashing? It's not because you and me are selling all of those altcoins, it's because Ethereum is doing poorly. Now, is this potentially turning around very soon? Let's have a look at some on-chain metrics most people aren't considering. Because since Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake, it underperformed Bitcoin by 54%. And because of that underperformance, a lot of altcoins are suffering as well. Now, is the problem the usage of Ethereum? I don't think so. What we have got over here is the number of active addresses on ETH. And yes, there seems to be some kind of correlation between activity and price, as in when activity is high, the price is high, but it doesn't necessarily mean that activity has to long-term increase for the price to go up, because the number of active addresses was very similar at the beginning of 2018 to Q1 of 2021, but the price went from 1,400 all the way up to 3,800. So the price appreciated much more than the number of active addresses. We can also have a look at the new addresses. That didn't even peak at a new high at the beginning of 2021. Yet the price reached a multiple X new high. And so the price can long-term appreciate without the active usage going up. Now, what's supporting the price? It's charts like this. This is the number of Ethereum addresses that has less than 0.1 ETH in their wallet. So at current prices, that's a bit above $200. Those number of addresses continues to rise. Or have a look at the number of addresses with less than 1 Ethereum. So a bit below $2,000. That also rises quite constantly. But once we go beyond the small retail investor with just $2,000 in it, once we go into the more serious capital with at least $20,000, or the number of addresses with 1 to 10 ETH, then the growth isn't as steady. Yes, the addresses still doubled from the beginning of 2018 to today, but the price also just made a rough doubling. So we've got constant buy pressure by the very small guys. We've got accumulation that represents the price action by medium-sized retail, so by the addresses between $2,000 and $20,000. And once we go larger in the minimum holding, the charts look very different. So yes, one could still argue that there's accumulation by the wallets between $20,000 and $200,000. But once we go to the millionaires, right, the investors between 200K to 2 million worth of Ethereum, that growth has pretty much halted since 2018. There are some smart people that buy heavily when the price is low and that sell once the price rises, but that's simply just riding the waves. There seems to be this cutoff point between the wallets that have 1 Ethereum to 100 Ethereum. Once we go beyond 100 Ethereum, those are the people that take all the profit. Because check this out, this is another order of magnitude up, so that's 1,000 Ethereum to 10,000 Ethereum. Those people are really raking it in. Those people are net sellers. The mega whales are dumping on the small, poor retail people. Here, one more order of magnitude up, that's now a minimum holding of 10,000 Ethereum. So that's a minimum holding of 20 million worth of Ethereum. They are selling and selling and selling. They started in July of 2021. That was over here on the chart. And since then, Ethereum's dominance did not really rise. The main problem with crypto YouTube is conflict of interest. Too many YouTubers shill garbage, promote garbage, and fill up their pockets in the background. Not this channel. Instead, there's simply the offer where I share my skills, my perspectives to you, and where I also share direct access to me, where you can ask me any questions. Feel free to check it out. The premium membership link is down below. So I think it makes sense to time the market using the smart money, the people that used to buy low and sell high. And one might consider this smart money because the number of those addresses went up massively when ETH's price was $200. And then they all net sold those purchases when ETH went to $1,800 and there wasn't that much more growth anymore. They then started purchasing again when Ethereum was at around $1,800 to $1,200. They subsequently sold for similar prices and now they are rather exiting again. We are hyper depressed in Ethereum's dominance, right? I did try to time that bottom. 2 weeks ago, I bought because on a day close chart, it looked like we've already seen the bottom. But unfortunately, we broke that support. And even on an intraday level, we're now below the lows of June 2020. So I'm getting somewhat pessimistic. And as an extension, that's of course not that great for the altcoins as well, because altcoins are very highly correlated with Ethereum, much more so than with Bitcoin actually. Check out this correlation matrix. This shows how much altcoins tend to move with other assets. And the higher the number here is, the more they tend to move in the same direction at the same time. So when we look at those altcoins and we look at the correlation coefficient relative to Bitcoin, so that's the first column, and relative to Ethereum, that's the second column, we tend to see higher numbers in the second column compared to the first column, right? The second column tends to have higher numbers. So altcoins tend to move more with Ethereum than with Bitcoin. Ethereum is actually saying where the altcoins tend to trend. It's not Bitcoin necessarily. A declining Ethereum dominance is very, very bad for the alts. And there's continued sell pressure by the mega whales with $20 million worth. There's also sell pressure by the regular whales, and the sharks are simply riding the wave. They are currently not accumulating. And activity on Ethereum might not be that important, but unfortunately the accumulation by small retail cannot offset, at least for the moment, the selling pressure by the big guys. I'm currently rather cautious. I'm waiting for prices to get really, really depressed, especially Bitcoin. If that gets closer to the realized price at around 31K, then I'm going to buy very heavily. Before that, I rather tend to be risk off, and I buy long-term government bonds. I buy silver. I buy the things that don't go down when risk aversion goes up. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. In case you've got Telegram, then feel free to join us. The link is down below. Looking very much forward to chatting with you.